Hey, Nathan here, helping you become a better jungler. So Graves is going to be the next champion guide I'm going to be releasing on my channel, but I wanted to sort of start off with a review of a super high ELO pro player game to sort of get an understanding more of the champion for myself, but I think this will also be helpful for you. So this game here is a very high ELO over on NA Challenger. A lot of players here are LCS and also over 1k LP, so we've got top lane here, we've got the CLG top laner, Ruin, Broxar, jungler for Team Liquid, Flower of Evil, which is Power of Evil, the mid laner for FlyQuest, and Sven, the ADC for Cloud9. So this is a very high elo game, and this is a game we're going to be looking through the perspective of Shernfire. So Shernfire is a consistent high elo challenger player. Currently the jungler for Team Liquid Academy, but this is a game I picked because this was a very good game from him in terms of like showing the 1v5 carry potential of Graves. So I sort of want to like dive into exactly how he did it. Looking at the strengths of Graves and how we want to be getting leads in terms of the early game and what it looks like to continue that lead, making sure you're very, very strong and, you know, 1v5 carry potential. So again, I think this is a really good game. I think Shern finishes this game 20-2, but I think he was like 20-1, but he died randomly at the end. So let's take a look at this game here. Let's start off with Shern's Graves runes here. So there's been a lot of talk about Graves runes. There's been lots of options we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So you have the Fleet of Footwork, which has been the really standard build. People have been going Electrocute, Dark Harvest, so this is the part I'm pretty confused about, but this game, Shern has gone for Phase Rush, and this is looking to be more and more really popular for Graves, and I'm seeing this starting to become consistently. So this is looking like the cookie cutter Graves build, but I will go into this in terms of my champion guide as well once I do a bit more research, play him a bit more in my games. So Phase Rush here, Nimbus Cloak, which works really well with your Flash Smite, obviously getting on them, especially if you take Red Smite, it sort of, Nimbus Cloak sort of helps it act as a Blue Smite as well, so that synergizes really well. Absolute Focus, Water Walking, which is obviously really good for river control. And then Triumph, Alacrity, so these are pretty much always the cookie cutter runes you want in every build, whether you're taking Fleet of Footwork or not. Obviously Triumph really good for those skirmishes, getting that extra heal after you kill someone, but the Alacrity really good for scaling. It's going to help you just absolutely tear through people, especially when as you're building sort of probably a lot of AD items. The attack speed items you're sort of going to be building is probably Phantom Dancer, but this is going to really help you before you get that item. Then the rune stats here, we go attack speed, AD, and armor. So that's runes here. We'll go into the build as Shern builds these items, but so let's just jump into the gameplay here and take a look at how we can 1v5 carry as Graves. Okay, so in the early game here, Shern actually opts for a late invade on the Lee Sin's red buff. So every time we think about late invading in general, we need to think in advance, who wins the fight? Who wins the 3v3 in this situation specifically? So we have a Lee Sin, Lulu, Aphelios into a Graves, Tahm Kench center. So already looking at Aphelios, Lulu, these guys are very weak early. Senna, Tahm, this is a very popular combo in terms of the bot lane, especially in high elo. These guys have a lot of disruption. We've got CC from Senna. Tahm Kench has his Qs, but slows. So hard win 3v3 these guys. So I think this is very smart by Shern. And getting a red buff start off over on Lee Sin gives Graves a lot of opportunities, potential to potentially maybe stop Lee Sin from getting his red, or maybe be forcing Lee Sin to start blue, which is really going to sort of mess up the Lee Sin's game plan here. So let's see how this plays out. So they come down here, late invade, Shern sweeps to make sure there's no wards here, and it is actually pretty free. So Aatrox here actually goes and checks the red buff, and it is up. So this actually tells us that Lee Sin has most likely started his blue. So if we look at their vision right here, they actually are on here, but it looks like they see the Graves and Senna and Tahm walk in here. So let's look at this. So Lee Sin's here. So they actually just decide to leave this. And I actually really like this by the Lee Sin here. Understanding, okay, we hard lose this 3v3. I don't want to fight this at all. I'm just going to go straight to my blue buff. But again, look at how much this disrupts Lee Sin's gameplay here. So they see them walk in. Lee Sin here is just like, nah, see you later. Go to his blue. So this is actually pretty interesting in terms of Lee Sin doesn't decide to go just straight to Graves as red. And I think this is potentially a mistake. I don't know exactly why Lee Sin does this. He might be scared of Aatrox disrupting him. But this is going to be very good for Shern. So let's get it back to Shern's perspective. So he takes the red. Now he's taking the Raptor camp. Kiting it, killing the small ones first. This is what you want to be doing with Graves when you kill this camp, especially when you have Machete. You don't have Talisman to really clear the camp fast. And Shern actually just saw this ward die, so he actually knows that Lee Sin knows where he is. Okay, so he actually opts for this mid gank. And this is... okay, this is very odd for me, why Azir didn't already think about this was potentially going to happen. So a little bit of disrespect from Azir here. I mean, he could be baiting, but again, really doubt it. And Shern picks up an easy kill there. So I think that was definitely a pretty big mistake from Azir there. He actually didn't burn his flash at all there, but I think he was dead anyway. So that's probably not worth burning his flash. So Shern decides to actually go straight for his red buff. I do really like this. So Shern's going to have the red advantage over Lee Sin. In terms of the 1v1, I definitely think Shern will beat Lee Sin. Again, the fact that he is red. Grit stacks are really good with his E as well. Is really good against armor champ. So again, if he is able to pull off this red buff, this is going to be huge in terms of early game momentum pressure, because Lee Sin's going to have no early game red, right? So it looks like he's doing this red buff very cautiously. He's dragging it out. He still has smite. So he's obviously thinking Lee Sin's probably going to come here. So he's just obviously getting ready for this. But he's full health, so this is fine. And the Lee Sin actually doesn't go for it all. So let's actually take a look at where he is right now. So he actually is literally just completely conceding his red. The only reason I think he might be doing this is he's thinking, okay, actually, I just really need to gank bot. I don't really want to trade sides of the map. But again, I think it still would have been fun. I think that Lee Sin really does need red early. So I'm not quite sure why he did that. But again, this is really good for Shern. So he's doing his Raptors now. Farm, farm, farm. Skips his Krugs entirely and just goes straight for this bot side camps. So I do really like this decision for Shern. So if you think about if he did Krugs here, let's say if he did red and then Krugs and then Raptors. So Krugs is obviously very good to get off the map in terms of level 1, start get them scaling experience and gold. But all his camps down here are bot that he probably wants to defend as well. So remember, Lee Sin is potentially trying to at least get 2 buffs. If he gets 3 buffs here, Lee Sin's not going to have a good early game. So I do like this, that Shern's sort of just trying to deny any sort of option for trying to just 3 buff the Lee Sin. He understands that he's much stronger than him. He has the red buff over him. There's no way, if he plays this correctly, Lee Sin should get this. So there's actually a mid gank that happens here, and Lee Sin actually goes pretty hardcore for this Corki. But Shern's around. He was obviously going for the bot Scuttle Crab first before clearing his bot side jungle. They burned the Corki flash, and now Shern is looking for them. But Lee Sin here actually goes straight for that. Actually, that's pretty well played there. Mr. Azir is now alone. He burns his flash. Shern decides not to flash after him, just do his jungle camp. So I really like that he didn't flash after him there. I think there was no reason for it. Azir was pretty much still full health. He would have just gone on a wild goose chase. Remember, Shern right now, all he has to do to continue to accelerate his lead in the early game is just keep farming. Take all bot side camps here, take his Scuttle. He's going to be so far ahead of the Lee Sin here, he's just going to outscale him. So this is one thing I think you really want to be doing as Graves, is understanding when you have a lead and just pushing it by just utilizing your clear speed, your strength in terms of scaling. So doing his blue, doing his Gromp. Does Scuttle Crab here. Remember, he knows that Lee Sin is topside here, because he obviously walked topside and he hasn't seen after Lee Sin killed the Corki, and he's just trading Crab for it. And this is again really good because Lee Sin can't trade Raptors because Shern took them. All his options are right now, the Lee Sin is Gromp, Scuttle Crab, and like the Shern's Krugs. And Shern he's taken all this, and he has the option to do Scuttle. He's taken 3 bot side camps, and he has the option to do Raptors and Krugs. So he has such a huge camp advantage right now. It's pretty ridiculous in terms of his experience in gold right now in the early game. So he does that Crab. Now he's coming for a bot gank. Need to be very careful. There is a big wave coming down on here as well. But really good Q from the center there. They burn a few of those flash. Okay, that's good. He's definitely going to be able to potentially regank this. So if you look at potentials for regank and the side he wants to focus here, is definitely, the answer is definitely bot side. Like top sort of just going to be trading with each other. I mean, Lee Sin could potentially be looking to gank this here. This is potentially, I think, some danger pings Shern should be doing, because Lee Sin's only option right now is to gank Aatrox. But he has flash. Like I'm pretty fine that Aatrox should be able to survive this. But again, I don't think there's any worth for Shern to be coming to kill set here. Let's just punish these flashes bot. And whenever you burn flashes, always look to potentially regank that. Okay, so Shern actually doesn't base. These guys walk up again. Okay, this was really greedy by them. Let's take a look at this. So they really want to push this wave in, okay. And Shern obviously sees that. They think that he's gone. Shern flashes in there and Qs. They kill their Philios. Okay, and Lee Sin actually did the only option he could have done, is actually gank top there. So I think that maybe potentially some back pings from Shern would have been good there, but this is still really good for him. They get the kills bot, and he decides to not push this in. This is definitely the right decision. They can set up a pretty good freeze down here, so I definitely think there's no reason to push this in. There's also, they're not going to be able to push this in fast enough for it to, for Aphelios to not be able to get any minions. So definitely always identify as well when time to push and time to not push after a gank. So Shern's level 5 now, resetting to spend his gold, gets a Warhammer, Skirmisher Saber. Again, Skirmisher Saber is going to work hand in hand with Nimbus Cloak, and it's really good for skirmishing, especially against this Lee Sin. So great, goes straight top for his Raptors here. And looking to punish mid again, knowing that Azir doesn't have flash. But he is level 6 now. Does he have enough mana for ult? He does, okay. So he burns his ult there, which is still great. Pushes this in here. And Shern gets level 6 and literally kills the Azir with his ult there. Okay, so Set TP's in here as well. Bit of a fight happening. Shern just ease over the wall there. He does see Lee Sin on low health. And he is level 6. Okay, and Lee Sin actually greeds it. He's obviously trying to think that maybe... What was Lee Sin thinking here? Okay, it's because his bot lane's roaming up. They want to invade. But Shern literally just pops him here. But he probably is actually going to die for this, I think. Yeah. Lulu's here. Okay, so he trades 1 for 1 here. Okay, so let's think about if this was worth it from Shern's perspective at all. So, the thing with, I mean, jungling in general, like, trading 1 for 1 here is potentially fine. But the fact that his Wolves and Gromp is still up is not so much. You sort of... I'm happy to trade 1 for 1 as a jungler if all my camps are down. But in this case scenario, especially given that shutdown gold, this is definitely not worth it. Because he's going to have a bit of decision fatigue right now. Because his bot camps are up. His red's coming up soon. He sort of wants to go topside, but he's just done his Raptors as well. So this actually sort of really messes up his path in, his camp sequencing. So let's see where Shern decides to go out of base here. So even on that base, like he does get Warrior from those kills, gets a control ward, and decides to actually go bot here. So I definitely think this is the right decision here. Dragon is an option, wants to clear his bot camps. They are... Okay, they're level 6 here, so he actually cleared them a lot. But bot for this potential crab and dragon as well. So if we look at the situation right now, so Shern, hey, he has 100% kill participation. Lee Sin's ganked top, and Corki's actually not doing too hot mid. So his solo laners are struggling a bit. Bot lane is definitely very, very good to, I think, keep playing around. So I think, again, being bot side is going to be good for Shern here. So Lee Sin actually comes down here for a gank. Shern comes to help. A lot of damage from that Q there on Lulu. Lee Sin misses that Q. Actually, Shern would have died there if Lee Sin hit that. But just kite him back. Really good Q by the Tarm there to get the slow. They kill Aphelios. Shern have ult? He does have ult here. So he's just saving his ult. Okay, ults gets kicked by Lee Sin there. That's a pretty cool animation there. And they win that pretty hard. So, alright, so... Still only a 1k gold lead here. A lot of the gold is sitting on Shern. So Shern definitely is in the position. He's 2k gold almost ahead of this Lee Sin. He has to be the one to carry this game. Mid struggling. Top is... does have a Cal, but sets 2-0 here. So again, let's take a look at how Shern uses his lead to close this game out. So resets off that, decides not to do dragon. I think this is actually pretty important to not do dragon here. If he was to do dragon here, Lee Sin could potentially go straight topside, take his camps and take Rift Herald. Because Shern's going to be too low to contest. I mean, he has no mana right now. Just taking a bit patient here, going top, clearing his top camps, seeing what's going on, then maybe walking down to dragon. So this is obviously looks like exactly what Shern's going to do. I think this is the right move. Does his red buff, does his Krugs. And he's actually looking at top here. Okay, so it looks like it works there. Lee Sin is there. So again, we need to think about every time when we gank. Is it worth it? Is it worth investing the time and resources to potentially kill this set versus, like, we don't know where Lee Sin is right now. Let's say if he was to show top and they kill set here, Lee Sin's bot, they straight up lose dragon here. And I don't think this is a game where you want to be giving up Infernal Drags early. So potentially in terms of tracking, Shern knows that Lee Sin's top here. Top side. I mean, I guess he probably most likely is top at this stage because Lee Sin was bot, he died there. He probably is most likely going top to clear his blue. So actually this is fine. Lee Sin should be top side, so this play does make sense. Alright, so we're going to take his bot camp, shake his bot camps here. Or is he going for a Zia? Oh, misses the ult there, but forces him out. Get some plates there, moves into bot side jungle here, check the Raptors. Raptors are up, but Shern sees priority bot here. This is where map awareness comes in, looking at waves. Kills the Lulu. And that's going to be a free dragon. The enemy bot's dead. He has priority bot. Doesn't know where Azir is, but Azir has no ult, no flash. And Shern here is level 8. So I'm definitely pretty comfortable in getting this dragon here. Lee Sin tries to go for it. Shern outsmarts him. He's just going to die here. There's no way. Level 9. Oh. Almost. Okay, so I really like... Okay, number 1 for rule for against Lee Sin's as well. If you're in doubt, especially about the dragon, always drag it out against Lee Sin's. Because Lee Sin wants to Q this. If he misses the Q, he's forced to ward hop, which means he has no W, he has no Q. So if he ward hops here, I mean, in terms of a fight, like the W cooldown is going to be really long. It's going to be very advantageous for you in terms of that fight. So really like this here. Shern dragging it out. Forces him to use a control ward. Lee Sin here kicks him out, but he still loses the dragon. And is forced to flash, but Shern doesn't face track that. Azir definitely has priority here. There's no point chasing that. Alright, so we see Lee Sin there. Corki kills him. Back to farming. Alright, reset. Can we get Cleaver? We can. This is going to be a really good base for Shern here. So we get Cleaver and Berserker Greaves, and he's looking to build Control Ward here. So this is something I'm going to have to do a bit more research on, thinking about the decision making in terms of Greaves over Ninja Tarbs. Is Swiftness Boost an option? I don't know about that. Like, they do have some slows in terms of Lulu, Azir. Okay, so come straight mid here to cover the wave. So protecting this tower here, definitely don't want mid tower to be going. Forces Azir to ult defensively again, but Shern flashes and picks up the kill there. So 10 and 1 now. Again, very strong. He's 2 levels ahead of the Lee Sin now. Has Black Cleaver, 2 control wards. This is an ideal situation for Shern to be in here. So Lee Sin's no way going to be able to 1v1 Shern here. So he forces him out. Set does have priority there, but he's still ages away. They force Lee Sin to back off. And Shern decides to actually go straight for Lee Sin's bot side jungle instead of doing Rift Herald. So I definitely do like this. This is going to continue to set the Lee Sin really far behind. I don't think Rift Herald is really necessary right now. Again, Shern will continue to win this game by scaling, denying all these camps, and playing a bot is again still a big priority here. So actually, if you look at what happened here, bot lane's very low, so definitely like moving bot here. A lot of pressure going bot here instead of doing Rift Herald. If he was going to do Rift Herald right now, Lee Sin potentially could have stayed on the map and maybe even turn this and potentially kill these guys. So we don't know. So I really like this. Takes all his camps here. Set is roaming down. Lee Sin's getting very greedy for that red. He really just needs to back. He can't contest this. Shern places a control ward deep there. Take his bot side jungle. So now we can go do Rift. Now there's nothing to do. Bot, let's just go top. So we've got some pings going out top here. Set does have priority. He gets the crab. He sees Lee Sin with the scrying plant. Decides not to risk doing Rift. Again, we don't need to take any risks right here. We're super fed. Take the high percentage plays here. Alright, so Krug skips his Raptors. He needs to go straight to this far right now. Lee Sin's collapsing. He's 3 levels ahead of Lee Sin at this stage. They kill Aphelios. Just ease straight into that. Lee Sin tries to kick him into tower there. Doesn't work. Lee Sin, he gets, sorry, Shern gets healed up by center. Okay, so they're going to take mid tower off that. Shern decides they've literally completely ditched this, and I love this. He's going straight bot to take these huge waves to pressure bot tower. There's no reason for him to go mid. His team can get this alone. This is absolutely the best play right now. He's going to get even further ahead. So he's just soaking up everything like a vacuum cleaner. So that's 2 full waves he's got now. So this is, I mean, he's 3 levels approaching potentially. No, not 4 levels yet, but again, very, very far ahead right now. So need to think about the game plan here. So red buffs up, dragon spawn in. Definitely want to be wanting to get that as the next objective here. So the next objectives here would be dragon and top tower. But Shern wants to be getting his red buff first, then moving down to dragon. So the way the timing's worked out is really good. Always create an efficient jungle path around the next objective, and in this case, again, it's dragon. So Azir's pushing bot here. He's pretty overextended. Let's just ditch the dragon. Let's go kill Azir, then we can do dragon. Alright, Shern hits the ult on that. Corki finishes him off. Crab, blue. They did get Herald here. Set's putting out a lot of pressure top. But again, look at this right now. 3 levels ahead, 60 CS up. Shern has literally the most CS in the game right now. Look at that. Just keeps taking these bot waves. Doesn't care about anything else. Just keep pushing side lanes. If no one else is going to push it, just take the farm. Alright, uses his control wards here. And again, notice every time out of base, Shern's getting 2 control wards. I talk about 2 control wards a lot on my channel. Super important to be getting those as quickly as much as possible out of base. It just gives you so much control of the map and areas of the jungle. Alright, so Shern's literally just walking in 1 versus 3 right now. Let's just take a look at that combo again, because that's actually pretty important. So walks up here. So this is max damage. So auto attack, red smite, Q, alt, walks back up, E, flash. Okay. So this is probably going to be inhib tower. It will be inhib most likely. Azir does need to base if he wants to defend this. He doesn't have TP, but Shern just decides to just completely back off here. So yeah, Shern's actually doing back pings here. He obviously doesn't want to risk it. And again, I love this. There's no reason to risk going for the inhibitor right now. And even getting an inhibitor this early is also potentially not worth it. So we get Gromp. Just taking all of the camps from Lee Sin here. He's going to be 4 levels up right now. So he's hit 14. Lee Sin here is still level 10. Do Krugs. How much gold are we sitting on right now? 3,000 gold. So we did go for the Phantom Dancer next. We'll see what item Shern builds next. But he's probably going to be able to base and literally buy a straight up item, whatever that is. So Azir is top lane here. No one's going to help Azir, so Shern picks up that free kill. Baron's coming up, wants to base before the Baron fight potentially, which is the next objective. 3,600 gold, buys an outright Infinity Edge, 2 control wards. Literally has 4 items right now. 4 core items, 5 items total. Okay, so decides to go bot out of base here. So why bot instead of top in since Baron's up? So I mean his team's here, a fight's gonna break out. Let's go bot. Misses that Q, but doesn't matter. He's gonna be doing so much damage with IE. Phase rush. So yeah, so I definitely really like phase rush. I think it's really good for Graves, just getting on targets and running away, kiting people. So it does make sense why it's really popular. Well, it's obviously worked this game. Oh, so it's the scrying plant, seems a bunch of wards here. Again, counter jungling. He's 3 levels up only at this stage. But look, I mean, look at the levels compared to his team right now again. Like and it all comes down to, again, all those waves bot that he took. That really set him really far ahead of everyone in this game. Really efficient here in terms of clearing camps. But still impacting the map. It's not like he's just AFK farming for no reason. And this is where mastering pathing is just so important as a jungler in general. Obviously, Graves is a very good champ in terms of you can be getting clearing camps really quickly and still impacting the map. But, I mean, there's many situations where he could have pathed incorrectly here and not being able to influence these fights. Alright, so just getting bot tower here. Again, just soaking up all these waves. No one's pushing the towers, so he's just doing it himself. Literally just diving in their base right now. They don't even have that inhib yet. Let's just play out that. Again, I just want to pay attention to how Shern's playing mechanically here. So it starts off with the Q, just auto-attacking the closest target to him, which is Azir. Alt. E. So he's 19-1 now. Get this inhib. Can we end the game here? Lee Sin's coming up, Set's coming up. Eight seconds on Lulu. I don't think we can end here. Unless we get some kills. Okay, Set's dead. Get this tower. So Shern's now. So I mean, mana is definitely important for Graves. Definitely don't want to be fighting without mana. So we just decide to back off here. Take this dragon. Flushes, gets a Phantom Dancer there. Oh, does he almost kill him? Lee Sin gets super low. Corki comes in. Again, just stealing off Lee Sin's camps once again. Takes dragon. Crab, full clears bot. We definitely need to be thinking about Baron here, I think. Okay, so they literally sneaked the Baron there, but Shern's literally just going for the end. They're delaying their bases. So you're going to end here? They actually have Baron recall. And one more auto attack. Oh my god, is he going to get it? Oh wow, they literally defend that. Okay, he TP's in and they end. Alright, so again, yeah, I think this was a really good VOD to sort of see the strengths of Graves, and it's going to really help me for when I make my guide. Again, I need to play a bit more Graves to really understand him and get a bit more about the mindset and, you know, what happens if you had a bad early game. Obviously, this was a really good early game, but Shern still did, you know, capitalize on this, still create efficient jungle path in, you know, was 4 levels up. So, I hope this was helpful. Yeah, my Graves guide will be coming probably in potentially 2 weeks, maybe 3. I do need to play a lot of Graves before I make that guide so I can really understand him. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in my next video.